All right, let's take a look at this little tool that I just built. Brett asked me about scraping Facebook group posts, and I thought that would be cool. His initial point was it'd be funny to see how many times people ask about contact finding tools in a given period of time, and I agree. So let's take a look at what I've created here. So this is the script, and these are the pieces that you're going to be working with or changing. I'm not going to create a UI for this, at least not anytime soon, because it has some quirks that I don't really feel like addressing. One of them is before you run it, you really need to refresh the page. Because if you don't, it might have some old tokens stuck in there that need to get refreshed out. But in any case, this is how it works. You'll type in the group name, which you can get from the URL, and paste it in there. And then if you want to do a search looking for something, you can do that with a Boolean search. This is my own Boolean search parser, so it's not the same as the standard one. And the differences are that you can use an around operator like this. So that's the button next to the 1 on your keyboard. And basically, if you put that between 2 words or 3 words, it'll handle up to 4 before it'll stop you. It looks for these words near other words. I think it's within, well, I can tell you. It is within 39 characters of the other word, which is, roughly 10 words. Well, more like 8 words. And yeah, so from there, the only restriction is that you cannot nest or statements. So you can't double up on your ors and say like this, or that, like you can't do that. But that's really the only restriction outside of what your normal search operators would be. It doesn't have stars because you don't need them. Everything's automatically a star in searches these days, and I decided to keep it that way on mine as well. However, if you are looking for an exact quote, you can put a quote around it, right? So if you don't want Finder for whatever reason, you could put quotes around it, and that would do the job. Additionally, if you want kind of the opposite of a wildcard on one side, so if you want to make sure that it's maybe you don't want telephone, but you're okay with some other words or like an S or something afterwards, you could put the quote just on one side, and that will make it to where there's a word boundary on that. And so if for whatever reason it came back with telephone, it wouldn't find telephone. So let's give it a run and see how it goes. And then if you don't, for whatever reason, want a search, you just make that empty. Keep the quotes there, but just empty it out, right? Yeah, and then you can run it. And it'll take a minute to cycle through. There's not any kind of status bar or anything because I don't feel like building a UI. But you can watch it here. And if there's something wrong, this will be an empty array. There won't be anything in it. And so you'll need to refresh the page and run it again. Aside from that, there shouldn't be too many quirks. And I don't really plan to create a UI for this again because there's some variants here that I just don't feel like dealing with. All right, so it completed. So let's take a look at the output. And so we're going to import. So we're going to drag and drop this TSV file because I don't work with CSVs. But if you're working in Google Sheets, just make sure that you select the tab separator, click import. And then here we go. Here are the posts. So you'll have the text of the post, the user ID, the user's Facebook profile link, their full name, the timestamp for when the post happened, as well as the date posted, which is the same thing. It's just a different visualization for it. So this is just for sorting. If you want to sort by date, and then this just so it's readable, and then a link to that post itself. So if you wanted to go check it out. You don't really need the search that I built in here, aside from, I suppose it is handy to have the ability to pre-search and have those around operators. But I mean, you can just do a control find in your spreadsheet and find single words. Anyway, that's it. If you want to use this, I'm going to drop a link to the code in the description. And if you don't know how to run JavaScript in the browser, I don't know, run a Google search. You're a sorcerer, you can probably figure it out, right? Oh yeah, and also do the like, subscribe, check out the links in there. There's Patreon where you can send me money if you like my work, that sort of thing.